I think we're going to get started. Thanks for your patience as we wait for people to log on. And thanks for joining tonight. I'm Abby Vanham, President of Troy Hill Citizens. If you haven't attended our meetings before, we meet typically the second Wednesday of every other month. I think I see Sergeant Burford and Commander Malloy on the call. So as usual, I'm going to kick it over to them first to give us a little Zone 1 update before we dive into some other stuff in the meeting. You guys want to take it away?
Thanks, Abby. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. Commander, before I get started, anything you'd like to say, sir?
All good. Hi, everybody.
All right. Okay. So last 30 days, guys, up in Troy Hill, no violent crime. We had one shots fired back on the 16th, which our detectives are following up on. They have some good camera footage up there that they're looking into. Nothing was struck, although that is alarming, having shots fired. We got a call on Lautner Street. Received a couple calls for a gentleman that was kind of suspicious on a porch. He was actually apprehended and arrested. He turned out to be wanted and have a warrant out for his arrest. We had a handful of domestics, a couple vehicle accidents, but other than that, there was no real violent crime or Part 1 crimes. The one thing I did want to talk about was, we've on this call and this meeting, we've discussed a lot of problems coming out of Tammy's Bar. And as we said, we passed that information along to detectives and the LCE. And over the last 30 days, or it might have been just over 30 days ago, they did a compliance check at that establishment. And they went through it with a fine-tooth comb. And on the law enforcement end, I don't know if they found any type of code violations or anything. But on our end, they did find one individual in there in possession of a firearm. Although they screened at the door, this guy was able to get a gun inside the bar. So they're doing a deeper dive into how that occurred. And his firearm was seized and he was arrested that night. So detectives are following up with that. But I haven't received any complaints since that compliance check. I don't know if that has stopped it. If anyone would be able to, give me any insight to that, I'd appreciate it. But through these meetings and some, the reports we get from the citizens of Troy Hill, we were able to identify that bar and get that checked into. So, Commander, things you'd like to add, sir?
Yeah, I just want to give everybody an update. Hopefully by May 1st, we're looking good. We're going to be starting our neighborhood beats. So you're going to have officers up there walking the streets. It's going to be sporadic. But like I encourage my officers to engage with everybody up there. Hopefully the community, don't be afraid. Come out, and if you want to join them and walk with them, I hope you can. I mean, look at it, some exercise, or if you just want to come out and talk to them, they're going to be there. And also on our agenda, we're going to try to get some door hangers. We'll be passing out with information, stuff like that. And I was probably going to reach out to all the community groups and see if they want their information put on this flyer also. That's all I got.
We'd love to have Troy Hill Citizens, we can put our email and our, some of our social media in case people want to reach out to us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to put all the community groups on the one flyer.
Okay.
Like a door. So it'll be like a door hanger, So the idea, I want them to, when they're walking the beats up there, to stop by and put door hangers on people's doors and hopefully engage with people. So.
All right. You said that starts May 1st, your beats? Yeah,
we're almost set up. I just got to find funding for the door flyers. That's on my other agenda right now, but the officers will be out.
Excellent. Does anybody have any questions for Sergeant Burford or Commander Malloy? Anybody online? We're going to drop anything in the chat. Okay, if not, we'll let you two gentlemen go. Thank you so much. We know where to find you. And thanks for your time tonight.
Well, thanks for having us. Everyone have a good evening.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, on to some other updates. I don't see anybody from Councilman Wilson's office on the call, but we had a really great discussion, I think, with his team last time about some of the outstanding projects in Troy Hill. As you recall, it's only been a month since our last meeting, so I don't have a ton of new updates, but I think there are some things I'd like to cover. The first thing is you've probably seen that the Troy Hill Road sidewalk has been repaired. That project started a couple weeks ago. They put a traffic light up on Troy Hill Road. I heard that was literally just completed as of like this morning or yesterday. So awesome that that's done. Love that. It didn't disrupt our neighborhood traffic too bad or for too long, which is really great because it's a main artery. So applause for a project done. Yay. So great. Thank you. Thank you to Councilman Wilson's office. I'll pass along our appreciation for that. The second thing is oh, I'm sorry. Lisa and Caleb, is that a clap emoji or are you raising your hand? Maybe they're just clapping.
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know how to take it down, but yes, it was a clap emoji.
Sure.
Sorry.
No problem. Just to make sure we don't miss any comments or questions online. Okay, so the other thing that I want to talk about a bit tonight is Rialto, our favorite topic. I know, right? I love it. So first of all, for those of you that were at the last meeting, we had a long conversation about the fact that the Rialto handrail, the steps handrail, it is in process. It is significantly delayed. Right now, the city has said that we are still on track for a summer installation. At our last meeting, we expressed some serious concerns to Bobby Wilson's office about safety issues related to Rialto with a lack of that handrail. The acting director, Kim Lucas of DOMI, came out and met with us and Councilman Wilson, a couple people actually on site the week or so following our last meeting. So we were very thankful to have her there to look at the situation and hear our feedback. And based on that, so one of the problems of doing anything sort of more permanent is that the handrail is in process. The money has already been kind of spent on that. We get that. We're happy to be patient, but we also wanted to kind of designate that still is a safety issue and trying to find some sort of solution, some sort of temporary solution. So the temporary solution is that there are now sawhorses on Rialto at some key points to keep people from driving up onto the sidewalk. And I think also just to show the neighbors and people going through and using that route that there will be a handrail there, not to get used to it being that way. I know this is an imperfect solution. However, I have to give credit to, again, the acting director and Councilman Wilson's office for jumping right on that and finding a solution that again is temporary, but at least it's something. Does anybody want to speak on the sawhorse handrail issue specifically related to Rialto? Anybody online want to speak about our lovely sawhorses?
If we get some plants, that would look nice, like putting them down there in between it.
That's true. Can you suggest some plants? I would love that.
Make it look nicer instead of sawhorse.
Sprucing it up. We did talk about getting like concrete, I know that a lot of people in Troy Hill fill up planters, they have the concrete, like
That's what I'm
bigger
talking about,
things.
some of them.
Yeah. I will add that to the potential list if this continues to go on. Anybody online want to chime in with anything? The second and larger part of this conversation is that, as you know, Rialto has continued to be a hotbed of contention, I guess is the word, I think. We've had a lot of conversations about not just big truck traffic, it's Rialto kind of usage in general, people being courteous, people understanding the road, how it functions. I have a couple points I want to make. The first thing is, for those of you on Facebook, hopefully if you're commenting on our Troy Hill Citizens page, you're also checking out this meeting. There is no possibility of widening Rialto. I don't know, we can say it, I will say it until I'm blue in the face. But that was not a possibility when our steps were redone. We're lucky we got such great steps. I shouldn't say we're lucky, but we got really great steps. They did a great job on that. So, but there's no way, because for many reasons, that we're ever going to widen that street. I mean, I shouldn't say never, but like not soon. Not in our lifetime. Yeah.
We
like.
tried to do that when they did the reconstruction of Route 8 and they wouldn't go for it. So it's not happening.
Thank you, Penny. Yes, we have been down that road many times, figuratively and literally, and I just don't want to see it come up anymore in my Troy Hill Citizens comments. I know it will, but I'm saying it anyway. So there's no widening. However, I think there are some things that we can do with Councilman Wilson's office and the city to make Rialto a little more pleasant for all of us. There have been a lot of incidents lately, some road rage incidents. Frankly, it's embarrassing for our neighborhood to have that kind of mean-spiritedness. I would ask, I'm sure people on this call are not the ones, kind of perpetrating or being involved in those things. But honestly, like just a little note to maybe just be a little nicer. However, for some mitigation efforts, last time we talked about a couple of things that I think are feasible, as a first step to see if we can make this situation a little better. One of them was that we were going to put up alternate truck route signage because one of the neighborhood community members brought up that when a truck gets to the top of Rialto, if they've been told to go down this way, there's also no indication of which way they should go. So easy fix, theoretically. Some signage at both ends. This was popular on Facebook, and I think that we probably talked about it at the last meeting, but I would love to look at some height bars for either end of Rialto. I think that's a physical, object that they would run up against literally if they were trying to come up or down Rialto and they're in an overheight vehicle. And the last one, which I think is probably maybe the hardest to implement, but maybe we'll have the most success, is that we would like to have Rialto removed from the GPS navigation. Bobby, you're just in time. Come have a seat. What's up?
Rebecca Rinaldo was trying to give me the link.
What was that?
Rebecca Rinaldo from the mayor's
Is
office.
could she not get on?
So she said no. She said she DM'd and
Hold on, everybody, 1 second. I just want to
she said she emailed as well.
email Troy Hill. Hold on, I have my email up. Sorry, everybody. Hold on 1 second while I deal with a little admin thing here.
Whatever you feel. It's in the middle. I just think it's a good idea.
I don't have an email from her. I just texted you the link. Can you forward it to her? That'd be great. Thank you. Okay, so as I was talking about, there are a couple things I think that we could do to alleviate some of the headache on Rialto. And the last one, I think I was mentioning removing Rialto from the GPS. What that means is taking it off Google Maps or Apple Maps. When you hit that, find a route to somewhere, it goes away. Rialto's not. I see some hopeful laughing in the back, maybe. So basically Rialto doesn't come up anymore. So if you're not from the local area and you don't know about it, it doesn't take you that way. I think one of the problems, again, I have out of town visitors all the time. I make a point to direct them around Rialto. I know my mom is not going to be comfortable driving that road. For people who are not thinking of their relatives or friends or people just cutting across the city, and they hit that GPS button, that can be a really intimidating street. And so if we can remove that entirely from the GPS, I'm not saying it removes it from Google Maps, right? You'll still see it. But when you hit that go button, how does it route? Can we just leave that off? And I think we had some conversations with Councilman Wilson's staff before about, the idea of limiting big trucks. There's no way for a GPS obviously to tell who's driving it, or who's using the Google Maps. But honestly, small cars still have an issue if you're not comfortable driving that hill. So those are my three sort of solutions I like to pursue. Yes, what's up?
Has it ever been suggested that they at least paint a line down the middle so when people know what side of the road, like they drive right down the middle of it? So if there was a line down the middle, you'll know you stay on this side and you stay on that side.
That's a great point. We can absolutely add that. I think some paint is not
I
a
did
bad
ask
idea.
about that a
Mhm.
year ago, and I said the street's not wide enough to legally put that.
Well,
We're had to do with the paint truck they were gonna use. They gave me some explanation like that. I don't know if it's still relevant, but
yeah,
I think I contacted Jeremy.
it's not wide enough for a line.
Department.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem. They can't fit a truck that does the painting down the street, so it won't work. It has to be done by hand.
We could do it by hand. We get a crew out there, paint a line. Donate it. Yes, getting enough artists. That's fine for needy people. They would probably do a good job at it.
Yeah, they have those artsy crosswalks downtown. We can just have an artsy center line.
Like the squiggle one?
Okay, Bobby, I just emailed her email dropped in my inbox. Yes, we can definitely, we could pursue that if we wanted to, but it sounds like that maybe was tried before and it's not a viable solution. Like at the top and bottom? That's interesting. A timed light on both ends, but where would the traffic go if it was?
You wouldn't be able to do it down the bottom.
I think it would cause us a major headache, especially up the top of Big Hill.
Okay, sorry, Ray, I think we're gonna nix that
I
one.
think, right, yeah.
We widen the road.
Oh. Really, testing my limits.
I think they're good getting it up.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that. I don't see.
Or a sign saying stay to the right
yeah,
on both ways, go one up, one down, stay to the right.
But her point is correct though. A lot of people are, the Google sends them there and they're intimidated. Now they're afraid of everything going up there. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
where the big hangups are.
Oh, yeah.
mhm,
So,
I would also say at the beginning, they did have a double yellow at the bottom of the hill and then just wore off after a couple of years. And then they never replaced.
that they
So
could
you
do.
could do that, because that's usually
Mhm.
the sticking point, because somebody at the bottom is too far over and nobody can do it.
mhm. Okay, so potentially double yellow line at top and bottom.
Well, I don't know if you need to, like, but definitely at the bottom.
At the top, you probably wouldn't see.
Interesting. Here's the thing, though. Obviously, we're not going to decide anything about, in this meeting this evening. I just wanted to let our community members know the things that we're thinking of, the solutions we want to pursue, and see what the viable solutions in that list are. I think there are some things that are obviously maybe easier and harder on that list. The thing that's at stake here is, if we can't sort of sort this out in a way that makes people happy, we could lose it, or we could have it go to one way. And I know that people have a lot of feelings about which way up, which way down. So I really want to avoid, losing that access either one way or the other to Troy Hill, since it is such a main artery. And I think we have 2 months until our next meeting. Councilman Wilson's here, so we can follow up with him on some of these ideas. And in addition, I would like to solicit some comments from the neighborhood about these 3 proposed ideas. So you can spread the word that we're going to be talking about this next meeting. And ideally, I would like to collect some comments in a slide deck and actually share that at the next meeting so everybody can see what our neighbors are saying and we can generate some kind of consensus around this issue. But how does that feel to everybody?
I've started talking to people already.
Great. Pennies out, pound on the streets. I love it.
What are the 3 proposed?
So we're thinking of alternate route signage. So when you come to the top of the hill, it would say like turn right to go down Troy Hill Road, for instance. So if a truck does end up in that position and their GPS is pointing them one way, they have an immediate, diversion they can take, right? That they can like see and take action on. The second things are height bars at both the top and the bottom, something visible that, we can keep larger trucks from coming up and down. And the third thing is that GPS, removing it from the GPS.
The cheapest and easiest is just removing it from the GPS.
Certainly, I think that may solve a lot of problems.
I
And so
agree. I
we
think
tried
we
that
should
first.
Issue that first.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been working on Molly, when she left, she was gonna do that for us.
Mhm.
Fortunately, she switched offices. And it just
I
didn't
know,
happen.
she grew out of.
I
she grew out
understand
of
that,
her
but it was
feelings.
gonna happen then, so we should just go ahead and do that and then go from there.
We brought that up at the meeting with the director on site. They say they don't do that.
I
There might
don't
be
think
someone
that's-
else that does that.
I think we may have to pursue a multi-departmental ask for that, probably. I'm sure that, I don't know if one entity has has total control over that, but honestly, you would know best. I don't know the inner workings of.
The 2 years I've been here, I haven't heard about any other roads in North South being technology, yes.
But we could be the first, maybe.
So does anybody have contact with Molly? Because she had the answer. So she would
I can
know.
definitely reach out to Molly. Yeah,
Could
I
you
still
ask her
have
about it?
her. Yeah, yeah.
Because I talked to her when we
opened the bridge,
Mhm.
and she said it was still available, so.
Okay.
She knows how to do it.
I'm gonna slide into Molly's DMs. Oh, I see a hand up. Ben, do you have something you want to add to this?
Just some context for Rialto Street. When PennDOT and the city partnered together back in the early 90s, when they were doing the heaviest phase of all the Route 28 planning, the city wanted to close Rialto. It's a liability for them because it is too narrow and because of all the problems that do come up with it with all these things. So the noisier we get about some of these things could end up backfiring quite badly. So I just think it's important to remember that. The reason it stayed open was because of a lot of vocal support from the neighborhood to maintain that thoroughfare. But you know, if we push our luck a little too far, I wouldn't be surprised if that goes in some negative ways. So it's just a good thing to remind people is that since it's not legally wide enough to be a two-way street, it is very easy for the city to flex that and say, no, we're just going to get rid of it altogether, which would be a really big step backwards from whatever frustrations we have now. So I think it's just important to kind of remind people that to maybe appreciate it a little bit more and not ask for too much.
I think Catholic Troy Hill would be on the media and city officials. Because I would be orchestrating that thing.
Penny would be calling
Yes, I
WPXI.
would.
It's true though. Sometimes the noisier you get about something, you
But
create problems,
This-
you know?
We only have two main arteries, and right now we have one road down to one light of one road because of the light. So how do we have any kind, if there's any kind of emergency that we have to evacuate or anything, we don't know. How could they do that to a whole community? I don't understand it.
I totally feel you, Penny. Let's hope it doesn't, let's hope it doesn't come to that. I don't want to lose Rialto either. I love Rialto.
So
I
do
love,
I.
I love.
Yeah, for clarity, I've never discussed that with anyone.
Okay, great.
That is not. Yeah,
Great. Does anybody else have any comments on the Rialto situation? Again, like I said, I wanted this to be the start of the conversation and some solutions proposed. Obviously, again, nothing necessarily being decided tonight.
I
Yeah.
guess I would just say if we're gonna like solicit feedback, that it'd be helpful to say like, as opposed to people just picking which of those solutions is their favorite, to be able to voice things like how many of those they are in support for.
A little
So
more
if we have
nuance.
to go, yeah, because then if we have to go to somebody and give them that data, then at least we're not like, at least it represents, if the city has to knock one of those completely off, you're not accidentally skewing the data, like based on having to just pick one choice as opposed to support all three or support
I see.
two of them.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the only thing I would say.
Great point, for sure. Do you want to say something, Councilman?
I just want to make sure, because we have a shared document that
Yes.
we were updating.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
one of the questions that pertain to Rialto.
I
Is
think, yeah, the update that I got on that was, I put in the shared document that we were not making decisions, but we had those three proposed solutions that we were gonna be thinking about.
Okay, and then we did do enforcement.
Yes. Would you mind speaking to that?
Yeah, I spoke with the commander Ripple from the traffic division. And he said he coordinated with the commercial police at the Troy Hill Fire Station, and they've done enforcement half dozen times, and they have yet to write a citation.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
but the
good- that's
citation
good
would
to
be for failure to obey the sign, obey sign, will be the, no truck sign,
And you said how many times did they come up?
half a dozen. Well, they,
Okay.
yeah.
And so no tickets are written? That's
Not
I
yet.
mean,
I'm
that's
not,
good.
I'm not
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to say that
No, no,
to
no,
say
no.
it's not happening. I'm just telling you. So one of the ideas I had was to coordinate with our commander, Malloy at Zone 1, because the same ticket that they can write is the ticket that the commander can write. It doesn't have to be traffic division or commercial division that writes it in the Title 75 code. They can write the same one. So maybe we can get a car up here at certain times if people think that there's a violation going on,
Mhm.
So anyway, I just want to say I looked into it more
Great.
into how we could, use the law to prevent that.
Yeah.
And any police officer can write that.
For sure.
Is the bottom of Street Hill, is that city or is that state maintained? Because the city police allowed to do it at the bottom.
I don't know. I guess I was just thinking at the top.
Yeah, but I think it's the bottom's the big issue too, because they come off the bridge and come up that way, so I think it's more built coming up. But
I'll ask the
when I
question.
see it, so I don't know about other
Yeah,
people.
I'm not sure, honestly, I.
Because that's where they
haven't
really
been
stop coming up,
but-
like, where do we go?
Yeah.
Mhm,
I
right,
mean, they're coming onto a city street, so.
Right,
yeah.
yeah, so I don't know,
I think that's interesting data, and I totally believe, I mean, if they didn't write any enforcement tickets, then, you know,
Yeah.
then that's what they found, which is helpful in this overall conversation, I think.
But the initial day they
so.
did write, there was one day where they did write a citation or like a warning for someone.
Oh, interesting.
Hey Abby, just thinking, I don't know if those are truly the only 3 options, but could another option just be to put signs that say two-way traffic, keep right? Because that literally doesn't exist, I don't think, at the top or the bottom, like instead of just alternate truck routes, like just multiple points along the way.
Noted, I will add that to our list as well to keep right for two-way traffic. I'm sorry, Lisa and Caleb, I see you have your hand up. You want to speak on this?
Hey, so there's also that stop strip, not the actual strip, but the where you're supposed to stop when you come to the red light at the bottom of the hill. A big issue I've always had coming up the hill is when trucks or cars don't acknowledge that place to stop, because that geometrically is the best place for them to stop for us to get up the hill. So a reminder, one, like Mackenzie said earlier, two-way traffic, stay as far as possible to the right, but also to repaint and maybe issue a like stop here on red sign so that downhill traffic stops for far enough back for uphill traffic to approach at a reasonable geometric angle or whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to make.
Yeah, that's a great point. Because we do, if you pull too far forward, you end up in a little bit of a pinch point there rather than, allowing vehicles to come around.
Yeah, and then Lisa, you won.
Thanks, Abby. Yeah, and I was just thinking of like, I hear Ben's point completely. I also think that like making an informed decision about at like a neighborhood level for even people that are super vocal on Troy hooligans but can't attend the meeting, like can we create some sort of survey that would have this kind of data that can be posted on that forum where we have super passionate neighbors who care about the neighborhood, who care about Rialto, who want their voices to be heard. And then that information, you guys can do with what you want. But at the same time, I just feel like it's a moment that people, they just want their voices to be heard in a very valid way. Like, for instance, we drive a manual car. I had a truck come up the hill as I crested going down the hill, and I had to put it in reverse going all the way back, and there were people behind me, and it was pretty dangerous just the other day. And that was a very scary moment. So I've never really had that moment before, and we've lived on the hill for almost 3 years, but that was quite disconcerting. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I want everybody's voices to be heard. And I like Morgan, like you, I definitely live by the data, and Ben. So, I want to make sure that
kind of like a rate 1, 2, 3, like your best options of like what would the ideal fix for in your opinion, then the second best and the third best, just so we have like a bit more of a polling amount.
Yeah.
The survey is a great idea. I'm happy to put that together. And I think as part of that survey, I would love to also capture, people always are taking pictures of photos and video of things happening. And I think if we had some sort of way of documenting that, and kind of gathering that in one place, and at the same time capturing that feedback, we're happy to do a more formal survey to catch that data. And I'm sorry that you had that experience. That sounds really, really awful.
Thanks, Abby. And definitely speaking to the documentation side of things, as somebody that's been in that biz for over a decade, definitely can help with documentation strategy and Yeah.
Well, then I'll have you review my survey after it's drafted. Please.
We need some written ones also. So
For
people
sure,
can-
yeah.
For the people that aren't on the internet.
Absolutely.
Talking about old people. So older people that aren't on. the
Hey, there are young people that are on the internet too. Some people just don't want the,
There's
don't
a
want
lot
the
of,
headache.
the elderly people just not familiar. You're not one of them if you're on it.
If we do a survey, I'll go on record on video to say that I will stand at the bottom of Rialto for a couple hours and I will stuff them in people's car windows while they wait for the red light. Although, the thing about that is you end up with a lot of you might get non-neighbor participation. But if someone is using that route and they live in reserve, I think that's just as valued. So anyway. Love that. Can't wait to see what that brings. Okay, I think this is a really productive conversation. And again, I'm thankful for everybody that's thinking about this and engaging with this because I think it's a big, like I said, it's a hot topic. Does anybody else online want to speak on the Rialto issue? Anybody in the room? Comments, concerns, Pat?
Maybe a question for the Center One Police, but a lot of times people will take pictures of a truck and they'll have the license plate or they'll have the number to contact.
Mhm.
And they, after the fact, by having that picture, then issue a citation to them.
Great question.
Because that would help with enforcement, because people are taking pictures themselves and then posting them on the.
For sure.
Facebook groups.
Yeah,
I'll check it tonight.
cool. Great question. Okay, so I think we have some follow-up items to the survey to create. We have some conversations to have before our next meeting. Very interested to see how that goes and what kind of information to gather. When that comes out, we will post it on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, paper versions. So stay tuned for that. Okay, couple other updates. Councilman Wilson, you reached out to PennDOT to request that WIC lines be added to our paving list. Hallelujah. And sections of Lowry are also on the draft paving list. Do you have is there like a timeline for that? Or is it just like whenever the city, like whenever?
We're actually first, so we're,
Oh.
they should be paving at the end of this month. And then going into next month, and it's, from basically the bridge from Lowry all the way down to, so. It's,
Is it like the bus loop area, like by the bus loop?
So we go from. Yeah, the bridge, we actually go from, Nigel or down to.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, so all in front of the. Yeah, cemetery.
Great. I know that'll be where you're, yes, it's bumpy.
House is
Yeah,
shaking.
I know.
Does anybody notice right up by you, the new pave, it's all rippled? It's newly paved and it is rippled really bad. It came down, did you see that? When you,
I didn't go there.
so
Like
when
over
you-
here?
it's across from her, like in front of her house?
From Rialto.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't go on that part about it, but yeah, it's rippled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lenore, could you
Oh,
send
nice.
could you send me a photo of it?
Did they do that
Okay.
recently?
Yeah.
I'll send you.
And all rippled.
I'll check because we have a warranty, with
I just
the,
noticed it today.
just like a bridge.
Yeah.
So I'll see, no, I'm serious.
I'm
I'll-
sure- I'm
if-
sure you
If
would.
it,
It's rippled pretty bad. too.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
No, every time the city water line breaks, that's probably broke 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. Rialto's
They didn't
bad.
fix anything, I need to just dig it up, they put a concrete patch, but the rest of the road's like this. Even up where they redid the monument, they patched the hole, but that asphalt was all new, it's all over.
Complete separation.
Okay.
So any
Well,
neighbors that have rippling, send me a picture so I can pull it together and we can get our warranty.
Yeah, I mean, if we know it's been paved within the past few years, it might fall within like the warranty.
This has been paved in
But
the
I-
last few months.
Yeah.
What's that?
This has been paved in the last few months.
New concrete. I mean,
The
new
blacktop,
asphalt.
yeah.
I was on Wick lines today and I saw some patching. They haven't like repaved the whole thing, just patched little pieces.
Yeah, so surprisingly, Wickline is
Did
a
it
state
make a
road,
big-
so that's why they're trying to coordinate with, and, so I found, I was gonna get it done this year, and then I was like, why isn't Wickline's on this list? Pretty terrible. And they were like, it's, PennDOT road. So I'm trying to get that on the, I'm trying to get that at least, maybe it'd be great to get it this summer, but
Oh, it's been patched.
yeah, they love putting patches down.
The water department's supposed to-
So the other street, I just want to make, what's
They're
that?
supposed to go curb to curb, where they patch the hole. They dig a hole in the middle of the street, they're supposed to go curb to curb.
Okay, so the water line that they're patching is on the Clemens too.
No, that's on the railway.
Okay, it's on rails. I'm gonna check that out.
And then up by the firehouse, they have the same thing.
But what lines, is it water
Yeah.
lines that are being patched as well?
Yeah, I think the water line did the damage down there also.
So maybe there might be a route with people to say if they, if it is wide enough. I know it's X amount of, whatever part of the road, X amount of feet or part of the road. If it goes, too wide or maybe too big of a patch, they gotta do the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I'll check into that. I'll just go home that way. But I did want to say that also Froman Street is getting done from Lay to Everhart.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Froman Street's on the list for paving too. Any questions about the paving schedule or other things for Councilman Wilson? Penny?
And then
Oh, sorry.
Everhart is on the list too,
Oh, wow. Okay.
from Froman to Dead End.
Wow. All right. Excellent.
Maybe
Everhart?
I'll read this and, like, pick out some more. So this is a draft. This is like
Yeah.
basically, the final draft that they're sending around. And since we're first on the list, I doubt anything's gonna change from here until the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
That's what.
So, I'm looking at this.
That's my question. Like, is it, you expect it in the next 2 weeks or
Well, I don't know if we'll start in Troy Hill in the next 2 weeks, because District 1, I don't know exactly when.
so? Okay, I didn't know it was in there.
No, they don't have it in here.
I was just curious.
No, they don't have it in here. They just have the date. Approximate dates, which is what I was talking about. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's cool. That sounds great. Sounds like we're getting some streets paved. People will be happy to hear about Lowry. That's been on the list for a while, I think. So let us know if you need any other information from us, I guess.
Yeah, I'll check into those.
Yeah, check into those patches and see what we need. We have our warranty. Okay. So that was the update on paving. Let's see what else is on the list here. Cowley Rec Center. That was one of the things we talked about last time, is having an in-person meeting for our next get together about this. Maybe we can even do a hybrid. Any updates on Cowley at all?
Yeah, so I'm, just like I said before, I'm committed to the in-person meeting. I spoke with the director today from DPW to see what the update was. He can't give me a date yet because he's still transitioning the project to a new project manager. So remember the last update was that we're coming out of their contract with an architect. And so then we'll be talking about the design, start the design process. And so he couldn't give me a date, but he's committed as well to in person, or we can always do a hybrid. And then I'll give that to you as soon as possible. It was just that
Great.
the project manager left.
For sure. And I know, like I said, it's only been a month really since our last meeting, which seems like time's flying. So great to have even that update on that one. I think there was nothing else on my list for your office. Faith, did you have anything you wanted to add? Anything else we've missed that we need to cover?
No, I think Councilman Wilson pretty much covered everything.
Okay, I do have a couple other things I want to talk about really quick. Another city update. So April 23rd, yard waste collection day, Saturday. Sticks, grass, twigs, small branches, paper bag picked up on Saturday if you have yard debris. Again, that's April 23rd. We in Troy Hill have a new state rep potentially, as we've been redistricted as part of the recent map changes. So Rep. Emily Kincaid, obviously, thank you for her service and the time that she spent with us in Troy Hill. I believe we are going to be transitioning out of her area and into a different district. And that district falls under the grouping with the Lawrenceville side of things. I'm actually not sure entirely how big the district is, but Sarah Innamorato is the state rep in that district, and we've been in touch with her office to get a meeting on the calendar with her. I believe she does have a challenger in this coming election, so I'm sure we will all see more about that as the time goes on. Do you have any updates on that in particular that you are aware of that we should be aware of? Other
So
than
anyone running in that district, it's whoever wins in November.
Mhm.
And so preliminary, just in terms of where they can get there, Representative Innamorato reached out. We've been discussing the district, so I told her I'm happy to introduce her to everyone if she needs me to.
Cool.
We exchanged some contact information on different groups already, so I think she'll reach out when she's ready, because I think I'm also in a similar situation where there is maps coming out for District 1
Mhm.
and how that will change.
Mm.
And so, I'm waiting till the map, well, on my side, I'm waiting till the maps are finalized. Because in my case, it'll change before an election. So at least I'm waiting for the final map. So I'm kind of waiting to reach out to those groups. So I'm pretty sure, she'll reach out. I'm not sure what her strategy is. Is she gonna reach out before the election or after?
Or after, yeah. I don't either. We'll find out. So stay tuned for that. We're kind of in a gray area right now as that moves forward. Let's see. Before I dive into a couple random Troy Hill citizens updates, I want to give Rebecca from the mayor's office a chance to speak if you'd like to. Thank you for joining us. Very much appreciated. Sorry about the link mishap.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. I had the pleasure of meeting some of you last month when Councilman Wilson invited me to the site visit on Rialto Street. For those of you who I didn't meet, my name is Rebecca Rinaldo. I'm Mayor Gainey's Neighborhood Services Manager. I'm a fellow North Sider just over the highway in Observatory Hill. So I look forward to working with you. Just so you guys all know, we have a 3-person team right now responsible for covering all of the different neighborhood meetings that we're invited to in all 90 neighborhoods. So please give me some grace in case we don't make your meeting every single month for 2022. Hopeful about being able to add some staffing resources in 2023. And while I can't promise that we'll be at your meetings in person or on Zoom every month, I can promise you that we will be communicative and responsive for you all during those months that we can't be at the meeting. So please, I'm going to drop my email address in the chat and my phone number. I'm sure you'll meet Chrisara Johnson and Jessica Farrell at some point from my team. We're really excited to work with you all. Heard great things about you all from the councilman and from other folks. So just excited to work with you all. And I'm also going to drop a couple of flyers in the chat. Nothing earth shattering, but my 2 kind of brief announcements are that one, as you all know, we in Pittsburgh love our pools, and we're already starting to, I'm sure the councilman can probably agree that he is. Are you getting flooded with inquiries about what pools are opening, Councilman? You're not? Oh my, we're getting like petitions in the mail. We're getting all kinds of stuff. So I just want to let you all know that we're trying to put some of the onus of this pool effort back in the hands of the community, because what we really need to do is find lifeguards. So I'm going to drop a flyer in the chat about our recruitment effort to hire lifeguards this year, because the success of that recruitment effort is directly tied to the number of pools that will be opened this year. And they actually increased the wages for the lifeguards this year because they're so determined to open all the pools, because people in Pittsburgh are so passionate about their pools. The wage now is $16 to $18.50 an hour. So please share those flyers with, folks in your churches, your kids' teachers, neighbors. If you have kids coming home from college, we appreciate all of our community groups partnership and helping getting the word out about that. And then lastly, the other flyer I'll drop in the chat is about a free concert event happening downtown next Thursday night. Downtown stakeholders kind of initiated the planning of it, and we're supporting it just in promoting it to neighborhood groups. It's been organized really to kind of send the message that Pittsburgh has reopened for business after, several dreary years of suffering through this pandemic. So there's gonna be a bunch of free live music, food trucks, some local breweries. That's next Thursday evening. Encourage you all to come out. And other than that, I'm happy to take any questions, concerns. And again, I'll drop all my information in the chat.
Wonderful. Does anybody have any questions for the mayor's office?
Where was it at downtown?
What was the location of the concert downtown, Rebecca?
That is a great question. I'm pulling up the flyer now because I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Nice to get back to doing things again, huh?
It is. And I thank you all for having this virtual and in-person hybrid format. I just didn't have childcare lockdown tonight, but I'll definitely get there in person at some point.
We anticipate doing virtual and in-person hybrid pretty much permanently, honestly. So
Okay, that's good to know.
whatever works. I'm happy to talk to a screen.
Okay, so the concert is at right at the US Steel Plaza. So you know the kind of that big plaza on Grant Street.
Great.
Yeah.
We will spread.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right. I see we're getting towards the end of our hour, so I just want to make sure I don't trespass on your time too much longer. A couple other updates. Community garden plots still available. Pat, you want to give a 1-second commercial for community gardens?
Sure, yeah, there's currently, as of today, 6 open at Lookout Street, so basically down at the bus.
Okay.
loop, There's 6 plots that are still open.
6 open at Lookout.
And there's 1 open at Elbow Street.
Okay.
And it's just a $10 membership for the growing season. And then you get access to tools, water, materials, stuff like that. So if you want information, you can go on the Troy Hill Systems website to the gardens page, or just email the.
Great. So for those of you online, if you didn't hear that, there are a couple garden plots still left at Lookout on Elbow Street. $10, tools, access to tools, water, etc. So feel free to sign up. Speaking of gardens, we're going to do an annual plant and seed swap. It's going to be Saturday, May 10th. It'll start at 10 a.m. and go till noon. Come at 10 a.m. and bring some perennials or whatever you have extra to share for the year, seeds, seedlings you started, annuals. Try and label them if possible, or we'll be able to tell what they are. So, don't bring any poison ivy. I don't know, something your neighbors don't want, but that'll be again at Lookout Garden on May 7th. We're going to have a flyer we'll send around in our newsletter. Okay, those are all my updates. I just want to call out our next meeting is going to be June 8th, same format, same place, VFW/on Zoom. I just want to open it up real quick. Does anybody have anything else they want to talk about or bring up before we close down our meeting for the night?
I have one thing.
Yeah.
I've been having let's call it a conversation with a neighbor about garbage cans. And
Tell me
so
more.
I went on the city website and saw that it's a city code that the garbage cans are not kept on the front sidewalk, that the garbage is to be brought back out and then removed, put back in its location. So my neighbor, he's a landlord across the street, has had several tenants who just throw trash everywhere. So I'm left to pick it up, where it would just stay there. It was horrible. But he said he had a waiver to keep the garbage cans on the front sidewalk. Is that true? I tried to look up if you could get a waiver to put them on the front sidewalk and couldn't find anything.
I'm not aware of like a waiver, but I know that there is an issue and there's a complaint about it, that there's an inspector will go out and see if there is a location where.
Yeah, he's complained that I've reported him before and he's been taken in front of a judge and I guess fined for this already, but refuses to put the cans anywhere else, and he blamed it on millennials. Millennials live on this hill that care about how they look,
Yeah,
and I'm not willing to sit on my porch and look at garbage.
yeah, interesting enough, like Troy Hill is similar to some of the lower parts of the north side where there's tight spaces and not many yards in the back.
Yeah.
In some places.
Well, there's.
So this is a
yards
similar
that-
complaint that, yeah, there's a similar complaint that we get on the lower parts, and so I'm not surprised that you're saying this. So there is an inspector who will go out to verify if there is space in the back.
Mhm. How do you contact that?
Um,
I call 311.
yeah, I can move that along for you, or.
1807 Rialto Street.
Lenore, if you want to send the Trail citizens an email, we'll get a little email chain going. How does that sound? And take a picture. Take a picture of everything.
So, I mean.
I
this
clean
is
them up
something
and
where,
yeah.
I know, there is space in the back, like,
Well, you have to walk down, there's a
Like
gate,
previous
you
people that
walk
owned the
down
place,
steps,
you
and there
always-
you can put the cans right there, which is where I put them.
Yeah.
And I'm probably trespassing, so.
oh, you go and put them back.
Well, you know, there's a big
After-
road involved.
Well, and after the last incident I had with them, they're like sitting next to the house, so there's no tenants in there right now. So, so there isn't any garbage left over, but yeah, they shouldn't be on the front sidewalk.
Yeah, I think it's really that we said, like I mean, it depends on what the car situation is, but with, my chief of staff, Sally, she loves to go to the magistrate to see them in person and tell them, or to express that, we'd like to take care of. So depends on how bad the trash situation is. If there is a spot for it, I think it'd be easy fixed if the
Yeah.
inspector comes. Usually it's like, we'll go there first, we'll go to the magistrate for dumping, on certain corners, or people just dump. Or there's like a contract list.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened last time. The last tenants moved out. They dumped everything on the front sidewalk. You couldn't even furniture, mattresses, garbage, cans full of water and baby diapers. It was disgusting.
But if it's a, landlord situation, we've been able to, work them out without, anything, too serious.
Okay.
So usually.
So do I send the email to you or?
I think Faith, did you write that down? Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Great. We have one question on Zoom I want to get to. Sean, I think I see you have your hand up. Do you want to unmute and ask us or whatever's on your mind?
Yeah, it's not really a question. It's an update from State Representative Emily Kincaid's office.
Oh, great.
And I'll throw this in the chat. There's going to be a shredding event on May 7th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Ross Municipal Building. And I have the address to throw in the chat. And just if you have any questions, please email me or call our office.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. All right, shredding event. Yes.
Is there
Penny.
any road programs? Twin Hills having a bad problem. The road is
Oh,
like
yeah.
wrapped.
It's the
Not even,
season.
it's getting really bad. Like, fortunately, my husband's exterminator, so. We gotta like
Is
took
he?
care of the
Yeah.
perimeter of our house,
Interesting.
but they're really bad. And
Is-
like, the rental people don't care about the garbage, so it's really bad. Is there any road like for the city anymore?
So the health department takes care of all that.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's for any private property, there's a situation with roads.
Who can we follow up?
Yeah,
Who can we follow up with on that?
I'm happy to send it all along.
Okay.
It's
I just, did
I
they do?
can't guarantee that it's gonna be a fast process.
No, it's okay. I understand that.
That's why I
they're-
held my breath at first. I was like,
I called 311.
Yeah. Health department is.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know like in years past, they'd come out and bait for the,
Yeah.
for the rats.
Well,
Yeah, I remember that
I
too.
mean, I could ask our, that's outside of our public safety division. I can ask them, animal control, if they do something like that.
Mhm.
You're saying like on city streets and property, because we're not gonna go on private property, but we can loan like a cage, but I'm not sure what animal those.
I don't want to catch it.
Yeah. I'm just telling, like, that's what they say. The homeowner calls usually, and they go, I want to catch this raccoon, and they go, hey, you can't, and they go, well, I don't want to catch it.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
It's the,
Right,
you know,
it's different
homeowner's
than a
responsibility to do that, yeah.
Yes, so you can't put it on a roof, you can't trap them below a certain temperature, you can't do it on the weekends.
I think we need to
There's a
talk
whole list
about
of
the
rules.
road.
I trap them already.
Okay, well,
I
so
trap them in store.
it sounds like you're gonna investigate if there's if the public health has if there's a bait program going on, right? And maybe you can hit 311 on that and we can see what their response is.
I just think if you have, yeah, but also if you have addresses that you're seeing a lot of.
Rodent
rodents
activity.
at,
Yeah.
I mean, the typical process is just to report it to the health department, but if you report it and then you can forward us like, I don't know, maybe they do like an ID number or something, I can follow up on that.
Okay, so like, is it the same as more people that call in the neighborhood, the better off we are, like the 311 thing, or?
I don't know, actually. I mean, the health department is its own,
I don't-
it's, yeah.
We
Interesting.
got a house too, that's like the whole wall fell over.
Yeah,
Are you aware of that?
Where?
No, well, they talked to the
condemned house
the
where.
condemned house. Yeah, they
Which
talked to somebody of the building people, and
1954 Lake Street.
they had her removed. It's in
Yeah.
the parents' name, but there was a building inspector, somebody up there, and they said no, it's not being torn down, but it's
condemned.
condemned.
It has a
Interesting.
condemned
The
sticker on it.
whole entire side of the house fell into the lot. the
Yeah,
lot,
so-
Or the lot next to it.
I don't know, I'm gonna have to go for a driveway or a
Yeah,
walk,
so-
maybe.
I'll, so what's the address?
1954 Lake Street.
Okay, so we got that down.
Mhm.
And just so you know, any sort of structure that looks like it's gonna fall or is condemned and it looks completely unsafe, like it will fall, 911.
911.
Yeah, because the officer will show up and they will
Yeah.
direct DOMI to come out and evaluate the property. So that's the quickest, fastest, most effective way that we want residents to report a house that is quite fall. Like we had one that we just had to tear down on Boyle Street. And we received it through an email and the director immediately said, they were like, please tell this person that they need to call 911. Because they sent out an inspector and they called the contractors right there and had like an immediate, you
It
know.
probably is in the works because when the side of the wall fell down, somebody called and now there's caution tape around the part of the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
that
public
fell down.
safety, it's a huge public safety concern, so.
I mean, the entire wall, you can see her furniture in her house.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
It is.
crazy.
You haven't seen it?
No, I'm going down there after this
The
though.
whole time, the whole side of the house. is
On light.
complete-
Yeah.
Wow.
Luckily, there was an empty lot that the wall could fall into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it didn't go
Wow.
in someone else's house.
First, her ceiling, her roof had caved in, and I think from pressure of that.
It
caused
been
the
pushed
wall.
it out.
The wind went right through and blew the side of the wall.
All right, well, I'm gonna check that
They had to remove her from the house. so let's say for
out. Okay, well, on that note, thank you
Sorry.
all for attending. Thank you.